Okay, so serious time. So I'm not an Odin owner, not jealous or bitter about not having one. I was accepted into the Founders Club, but I made the conscious decision not to buy one with new money. And I don't have 5k in store credit, so that wasn't an option either. Not that I'd have got one. Also, it's really hot today and I wasn't going to launch the game because I don't enjoy being in a 35 degrees C room, but this is important, so I had to start the game and hit record to tell you this. But enough about me. We need to talk about this admittedly fantastic capital ship and specifically that price tag. I don't know who needs to hear this, but I'm going to say it loud and clear. $5,000 in new money is a ridiculously large sum of money to spend on a virtual spaceship. You can buy a used car or put that money towards a deposit on your next home. You can buy essentials such as food and clothing for a long time. I just want to make sure for whoever's out there, can you really afford this purchase? We're not talking about a $1, $10 or even $50 microtransaction, guys. $50 is a chunk of money to spend on a digital item anyway, but we're saying that this beautiful, beautiful battlecruiser, which don't get me wrong, I definitely want, but it will cost you $5,000 of your hard-earned cash. I was really concerned to see someone saying online that some folks out there are perhaps struggling to make ends meet but are still planning to acquire an Odin. What I want to ask is, before you buy, before you begin to even think about spending this undeniably vast amount of money for a digital spaceship, can you ask yourself 3 simple questions? Question 1. Can I afford this purchase without spending money that I urgently need for essentials like food? So in other words, will I or my family or loved ones undergo hardship as a result of this massive purchase if I go ahead with it? 2. If Chris Roberts or another CIG rep knocked on my door holding a USB drive and said to me, I have the Odin right here on this drive for you to use in our space game now, but before you can have it, I need you to hand me a briefcase containing $5,000 in cash, folded notes, and I want to count them to be sure they're all there. Would you give them the money? $5,000 or your regional currency equivalent in folded notes. Not a button you click online and it's done. Briefcase full of cash. Think about that one carefully. Number 3. Can you live with yourself after making a purchase of a virtual pixel spaceship for $5,000 of your real hard-earned money? Will you feel a sense of responsibility or regret after doing that? Look, I'm not a psychiatrist, but this is just a common sense question, I think. Listen, I'm not trying to spoil the mood here. I get this ship is very exciting and I love it just as much as we all do. If you're rolling in millions, then yay, great, good for you, go for it, as long as you're spending and enjoying responsibly. But I want to be clear that I don't want anybody to spend this kind of, in many cases, potentially life-changing money on a pretend spaceship in the space game unless they're absolutely sure they know what they're doing, they're not in any way being motivated by fear of missing out or rushing into making a very irresponsible and potentially damaging financial decision, not only to your financial status, but also potentially damaging to relationships. I'm sure I don't need to elaborate on that one. Just saying, and no, I'm not saying this to be funny or clever or make a joke, but just out of genuine concern, if you bought one and need to refund, there's still time to do that as far as I'm aware. It's in their terms, 30 days refund, no quibble. You have the opportunity to undo this purchase. Because guys, let's be real, the Odin will come up for sale again. There may even be discounts and it's all but certain we'll be able to acquire one in-game because CIG have outright told us that we'll be able to do that. It's just, I know the moment is past for now, but please guys, think. If another opportunity to buy the Odin comes up again, and let's face it, it will, think before you click. This is $5,000, people. If you have that money and can easily afford it, fantastic. If not, and that's many of us, please think twice. Think 5 times, think 100 times. Don't rush into doing something stupid and potentially highly regrettable. You can potentially get one in-game later, or board a friend's one, or another player's one. That's always a possibility, but you won't get your $5,000 back later, not once that refund window has passed. That's all from me. Thanks.